Welcome to Distributing God's Wisdom from the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, Vegetarian, Part 2 of 2, on Words of Wisdom. The Book of the Secrets of Enoch, also known as the Second Book of Enoch, or Old Bulgarian Enoch, is an ancient religious text which describes the intensity of the antediluvian, pre-flood time period. The book includes more than 20 Old Bulgarian language manuscripts and fragments from the 14th to the 18th centuries. Scholars believe that these Old Bulgarian text versions were translated from the original Greek. Enoch was a venerated patriarch and great-grandfather of Noah. After his son Methuselah was born, Enoch began to walk with God. That is, he began to seek, to know, to serve, and to pray to God, and he continued this for the next 300 years. Throughout his life, he visited heaven in his visions and dreams. At the age of 365, Enoch disappeared because God took him away, straight to heaven, for he was pleasing to God. The Book of Enoch contains unique material on why the Great Flood was morally necessary, why some angels fell from heaven, and prophetic revelations of the 1,000-year reign of the Messiah. But the main message is one of hope that God will be the guiding light for those who are righteous. We now continue with chapters 40 to 48 in the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, depicting Enoch being sent by God back to earth in order to distribute his knowledge-rich handwritings through his children, teaching them of the immeasurable greatness of the one and only Father. Chapter 40. And now, my children, I know all things, for this is from the Lord's lips, and this my eyes have seen, from beginning to end. I know all things, and have written all things into books, the heavens and their end, and their plenitude, and all the armies and their marchings. I have measured and described the stars, the great countless multitude of them. What man has seen their revolutions and their entrances? For not even the angels see their number, while I have written all their names. And I measured the sun's circle, and measured its rays, counted the hours. I wrote down too all things that go over the earth. I have written the things that are nourished, and all seed sown and unsown, which the earth produces, and all plants, and every grass, and every flower, and their sweet smells, and their names, and the dwelling places of the clouds, and their composition, and their wings, and how they bear rain and raindrops. And I measured out the whole earth, its mountains, and all hills, fields, trees, stones, rivers, all existing things I wrote down, the height from earth to the seventh heaven, and downwards to the very lowest hell, and the judgment place, and the very great, open, and weeping hell. And I saw how the prisoners are in pain, expecting the limitless judgment. And I wrote down all those being judged by the judge, and all their judgment and sentences, and all their works. Chapter 41. And I saw all forefathers from all time, with Adam and Eve, and I sighed and broke into tears, and said of the ruin of their dishonor, Woe is me for my infirmity, and for that of my forefathers, and thought in my heart, and said, Blessed is the man who has not been born, or who has been born, and shall not sin before the Lord's face, that he come not into this place, nor bring the yoke of this place. Chapter 42. I saw the key holders and guards of the gates of hell standing like great serpents, and their faces like extinguishing lamps, and their eyes of fire, their sharp teeth. And I saw all the Lord's works, how they are right, while the works of men are some good and others bad, and in their works are known those who lie evilly. Chapter 43. I, my children, measured and wrote out every work, and every measure, and every righteous judgment. As 1 year is more honorable than another, so is one man more honorable than another. Some for great possessions, some for wisdom of heart, some for particular intellect, some for cunning, one for silence of lip, another for cleanliness, one for strength, another for comeliness, one for youth, another for sharp wit, one for shape of body, another for sensibility. Let it be heard everywhere, but there is none better than he who fears God. He shall be more glorious in time to come. Chapter 44. The Lord with his hands, having created man in the likeness of his own face, the Lord made him small and great. Whoever reviles the ruler's face and abhors the Lord's face has despised the Lord's face, and he who vents anger on any man without injury, the Lord's great anger will cut him down. He who spits on the face of man reproachfully will be cut down at the Lord's great judgment. Blessed is the man who does not direct his heart with malice against any man, and helps the injured and condemned, and raises the broken down, and shall do charity to the needy. Because on the day of the great judgment, every weight, every measure, and every make-weight will be as in the market. That is to say, they are hung on scales and stand in the market, and every one shall learn his own measure, and according to his measure shall take his reward. Chapter 45. Whoever hastens to make offerings before the Lord's face, the Lord for his part will hasten that offering by granting of his work. But whoever increases his lamp before the Lord's face, and make not true judgment, the Lord will not increase his treasure in the realm of the highest. When the Lord demands bread or candles, then that is nothing. But God demands pure hearts, and with all that only tests the heart of man. Chapter 46. Hear, my people, and take in the words of my lips. If anyone brings any gifts to an earthly ruler, and has disloyal thoughts in his heart, and the ruler knows this, will he not be angry with him, and not refuse his gifts, and not give him over to judgment? Or if one man makes himself appear good to another by deceit of tongue, but has evil in his heart, then will not the other understand the treachery of his heart, and himself be condemned, since his untruth was plain to all? And when the Lord shall send a great light, then there will be judgment for the just and the unjust, and there no one shall escape notice. Chapter 47. And now, my children, lay thought on your hearts. Mark well the words of your Father, which are all come to you from the Lord's lips. Take these books of your Father's handwriting and read them. For the books are many, and in them you will learn all the Lord's works, all that has been from the beginning of creation, and will be till the end of time. And if you will observe my handwriting, you will not sin against the Lord, because there is no other except the Lord, neither in heaven, nor in earth, nor in the very lowest places, nor in the one foundation. The Lord has placed the foundations in the unknown, and has spread forth heavens, visible physical, and invisible spiritual. He fixed the earth on the waters, and created countless creatures. And who has counted the water, and the foundation of the unfixed, or the dust of the earth, or the sand of the sea, or the drops of the rain, or the morning dew, or the wind's breathings? Who has filled earth and sea, and the indissoluble winter? I cut the stars out of fire, and decorated heaven, and put it in their midst. Chapter 48. From the invisible spiritual, he made all things visible physical, himself being invisible spiritual. Thus I make known to you, my children, and distribute the books to your children, into all your generations and amongst the nations, who shall have the sense to fear God. Let them receive them, and may they come to love them more than any food or earthly sweets, and read them and apply themselves to them. And those who understand not the Lord, who fear not God, who accept not, but who reject, who do not receive the books, a terrible judgment awaits these. Blessed is the man who shall bear their yoke, and shall drag them along, for he shall be released on the day of the great judgment. Righteous viewers, it was a pleasure to be in your presence for today's Words of Wisdom, entitled Distributing God's Wisdom from the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, Vegetarian, Part 2 of 2.